All right, welcome cartel members. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be talking about how secrecy actually works. Now, this is going to be kind of a throwback edition to how we used to do things around here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, how secrecy actually works, courtesy ChatGPT, the US government and defense world use a tiered classification system that determines who gets access to what. Levels, description, and access. So first level, we have confidential, people with the lowest level information that could cause damage to national security if leaked. Now make no mistake, there's 3 million of those people plus, but you also got to consider their families, and these are estimates, probably a lot more. That's 3 million people with the lowest level called confidential, right? Now, make no mistake, these people are held to standards with these national security secrets that could cause damage to national security. They could be construed as what? You guys, you Q heads would know. They could be construed as terrorists and enemy combatants, if you will. And as we know, thanks to Lindsey Graham, enemy combatants are judged and tried on a different scale. That's the military tribunal scale. So these people would be facing death under treason. Does that make sense? Now, very easy to follow for those that are in the know. For some of y'all that are new to this channel, want to doubt the powers of the group of All American Cartel, the theorists are all around us. Check the comment section below and you'll see. And if you are an old head, please feel free to join us in the comment section. We're all kind of reuniting. It's really a wonderful thing. But let's continue. Secret level clearance could cause serious damage if disclosed. That's 1.5 million to 2 million people. Oh, that sucks. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut that part out because you guys can't have my password. Anyway, secret clearance could cause serious damage if disclosed. 1.5 to 2 million people. Top secret could cause exceptionally grave damage. 1 million people have top secret. Again, you think they're not telling their wives what's up? So you could double that. You think their wives and the parents aren't telling their children and recruiting their children from a young age so that way their children are one of the elite? You bet your dollar, you bet your bottom dollar, you bet your ass they are, right? So let's continue. That's just top secret, right? You don't probably even know anybody that has top secret clearances. These people live in towns. They take over towns. They own the whole town. They're on the board. These people are the elite, okay? SCI, sensitive compartmented information. Compartmented. Okay, sorry. You guys could read. So subdivisions under TS access to specific programs like NSA intercepts, CIA sources, etc. 300 to 500,000. SAP special access programs need to know compartments, often black projects, UFO research, advanced weapons, etc. Unknown but estimated to 100,000 to 150,000 total clearances. And I do believe that's current. I know that I don't know what the ChatGPT is, but I believe that's current. How many people have it currently active, and then they take away and give some, you know what I'm saying? But throughout time, I bet you 1 million people have had this access, so no. And they're still sworn to the secrecy of it all, even though they're not actively getting the benefits of being in the SAP program, right? So now we got Q clearance. That's where the Q heads come in, QAnons, Department of Energy. I remember one day when Isaac Cappy wore Department of Energy cap and everyone just went nuts. Anyway, Q clearance, 20,000 to 30,000. You know what? I'm going to get me a Department of Energy hat. Why not? Maybe I am one of these 20, 30,000. How do you guys really know, right? So Department of Energy equivalent to TS for nuclear secrets. Top secret. I don't understand that. Take away, at least 4 to 5 million Americans hold or have held some form of security clearance. That's more than the population of Los Angeles. How secrecy is enforced. Non-disclosure agreements and SF-312 forms, legal agreements under the Espionage Act, even hinting at restricted info can mean prison or death. Let's be honest. Espionage, you're a spy. Anyway, polygraphs common in CIA, NSA, and DOE sectors. Compartmentalization. People only see a tiny piece of a project, so even insiders can't see the full picture. Cultural conditioning. Many cleared workers feel patriotic loyalty. Secrecy becomes part of their identity. Contractor layers. Private companies like Lockheed Martin, Booz Allen Hamilton, and Raytheon employ thousands with high clearances outside government oversight. So you could add to these easily with the people that are employed in the private sector. The stadium thought experiment. Now, you guys remember Charlie Kirk, right? Just to wrap this all together. Charlie Kirk had a stadium full, an arena, whatever you want to call it, outside little sorry, my daughter's outside. I'm in my car hiding out for the sound. I don't want my house is kind of noisy with my kids and all that. So anyway, let us continue. So Charlie Kirk, where he was at, obviously looked like all these witnesses, right? All these people, right? That will go on TV and act perfectly better than actors on TV, right? On the movies. These guys. All right, cartel member, sorry about that little interruption. I had to deal with something, so let's continue. The stadium thought experiment. If you filled a football stadium, say 80,000 seats with random cleared individuals, you could fill 50 plus stadiums with people holding top secret or higher clearance. Add in intelligence communities, contractors, military officers, and DC think tank insiders, and you'd easily hit a few 100,000 who all know things they can't talk about, in quotation marks. Many are perfectly ordinary engineers, analysts, pilots, IT workers, people you'd never suspect. How to spin it for your conspiracy angle. I obviously asked them to help me out with this, as you can see. So questions we can ask, and I hope you guys can help me by answering in the comment section below. What if the illusion of regular people is itself part of the veil? What if they're trained to blend in, the perfect cover for continuity of government operatives? If millions already keep classified secrets, how hard would it really be to seed false realities or control narratives? You're not saying they do, you're asking what if they could. No, I'm saying they do. I mean, I don't know 100%, my beliefs. I only believe in God 100%. So with that said, let's see, but tell me how they get paid. So obviously, that's an excellent question, and it's one that gets to the heart of how secrecy actually sustains itself. The short answer is yes, but not nearly all of them are paid directly or indirectly for being in positions that require them to hold secrets, but they're not being paid to keep the secrets in the sense of hush money. It's more that secrecy is baked into their job. Here's how that works. Government employees, people in the military, intelligence agencies, or federal departments who have security clearances are salaried employees. Their paycheck is for doing their job, analysts, pilots, scientists, etc. But their continued employment depends on keeping secrets. If they violate their clearance, they're fired immediately. They can lose pensions, benefits, and future employment prospects. They can face criminal charges. So in a way, their paycheck and career are the incentive, not a separate secret keeping payment. Most cleared people actually don't work directly for the government. They work for corporations like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Booz Allen Hamilton, SAIC, Raytheon. These companies are paid billions through federal contracts. Their employees in turn are paid high salaries, often higher than government workers, precisely because they can be trusted with classified information. In that sense, the money flows down through contracts that are dependent on secrecy, psychological and social payment. Even beyond money, secrecy pays in status and belonging. Being in the know gives a sense of importance. It creates an inner circle mentality, a kind of elite club. Loyalty to the institution is reinforced through oath symbols and mission rhetoric. So they're compensated not just financially, but psychologically with identity, purpose, and pride. And it's mostly that, if we're being honest. I mean, how much does your soul cost to sell, right? There's no price on it, but you throw in some power and some in the know knowledge, it's a different beast altogether. So hidden financial flows in rare cases, especially within special access programs or covert intelligence operations, money can move through black budgets, front companies and discretionary funds labeled as research and development. Now, think 9/11, right? Those are the only areas where people might be paid in secret for secret work, often beyond normal government accounting. So they are not paid to keep secrets. They're paid because their job depends on it. Their job depends on secrecy and the loyalty, career, and identity system in what keeps the machinery running. Would you like me to map out how this web of payment and loyalty could be visualized, say like a pyramid scheme? No, that's okay. You've done enough. Good job. So with that said, I'm going to bow out with my typical, and as always, to God be the glory.